going to overpower you. He's going to throw 85. 22 years old, but Colon, over his last 8 starts, he and Syndergaard are probably the aces for this ball club. 4-1, very good earned run average for Colon. He's not going to overpower you. He's going to throw 85% fastballs, but they're not always going to be the same speed. He mixes all around that strike zone. He knows what control is all about, and that's one thing Berríos is learning. Get that stuff over the plate. He has nasty stuff, but 28 walks in 44 innings isn't going to do it. And stay away from the home run. His last 3 starts, he's allowed 3 home runs, all of them 3-run home runs. So hopefully here tonight, Berríos facing the Mets for the first time and his first start in interleague play will have a good one.
We're going to see a different Jose Berríos here tonight. A Jose Berríos with changed mechanics. We'll see if it's a better Jose Berríos. That'll be discussed in the bottom of the just getting his major league career started. His mound opponent is about twice his age and about 100 pounds heavier. With Bartolo Colon about the same height, 5'11" to Berríos' 6 feet. And Colon has done a wonderful job extending his big league career with pinpoint control.
Well, last time Twins faced him was, you have to go back to 2013 when he was with the Oakland A's. He pitched 6 shutout innings against the Twins in an 11-0 win. So don't let this weight and his age fool you. This guy can still pitch.
This was Paul Molitor's first game at Citi Field. Never came here as a player, of course. Never been here as a coach or a manager. And the Menards batting order for the Twins. They split the 4-game series with another wild card contender, the Detroit Tigers. Brian Dozier leading off. Joe Mauer at first. Jorge Polanco at short. Max Kepler, Kurt Suzuki, Eduardo Escobar, Eddie Rosario, Byron Buxton, and then it'll be Jose Berríos for his first major league at bat.
Well, Bartolo Colon, a Cy Young Award winner when he was with the Angels back in 2005, made the All-Star team this year, representing the Mets, the 4th All-Star appearance he made, making his 30th start, his 24th career start against the Twins.
And Brian Dozier will lead things off. Dozier incredibly with 34 home runs since June 18th, and the next closest big leaguer on the home run chart since June 18th is Chris Bryant with 22. And the first pitch on the outside corner is strike.
And you're going to see a lot of fastballs here tonight if you watch Colon pitch, but they'll have movement. He will work all four corners of the plate and take a little add and subtract with that fastball like he did right there.
Two of them dotted on the outside corner. He used to throw about 10 miles per hour harder in his, when he was Barrios' age. But he doesn't do that anymore. And he puts Dozier away on 3 upper 80s fastballs right on the outside corner.
The epitome of pitching, and that's what Bartolo Colon's been able to do. 497th major league start for Bartolo Colon.
Movement, sink, tremendous location. The Twins will see it all night long. One down, and now here is Joe Mauer. DH'd in the ball game yesterday in Detroit. Back at first base today. Up and away, ball 1. Slapped foul, 1-1.
And Joe Mauer, not a lot of at-bats against Colon. Actually, Kurt Suzuki has the most at-bats. And Joe Mauer 3 for 4 against Colon. Colon again 43 years old. Turned 43 in the middle of May.
Just up and away, 2-1. All the pitchers that Paul Molitor faced in his Hall of Fame career, and Colon's the only one still active. Paul Molitor had 8 at-bats against Colon back when he was a flamethrower with the Cleveland Indians. Three and 1 to Mauer with Polanco on deck. And to the screen, a full count.
Only 30 walks for Colon, 2 of them intentional in 171 innings pitched. He's given up 178 hits, so that's about even. 111 strikeouts now.
And he's just walked Mauer. A rarity, Colon issuing a free pass. And that'll bring up Polanco with a man aboard.
Yeah, that almost looked like the breaking ball right there, the little slider that he throws, but missed outside.
Northland Ford defense for the Metropolitans. Cespedes in left, Granderson in center, Bruce in right, Reyes, Cabrera, Rivera. That's TJ Rivera, James Loney, and Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate.
Yeah, they have 2 Riveras. One, of course, Rene Rivera, former Twin. One of the backup catchers here in New York.
Here is Polanco. Ball 1. It's interesting. Mauer, the veteran, batting second. And here's Polanco in his rookie season hitting in the 3-hole with Kepler, also in his rookie season, hitting 4th.
Bartolo Colon from the Dominican Republic, as Polanco is. And again, this is 20 years difference right here between these two.
On the outside corner.
It's got to be quite an honor for some of these young kids that know all about Bartolo Colon, what he has been able to accomplish in his career. Well, Polanco gets the chance to get an at-bat against him.
It's just fun to watch someone, as you say, pitch. You look at d'Arnaud's target, and Colon is right on target or off, so the catcher's mitt moves almost imperceptibly. He would be, I would think, an easy guy to catch. 1 and 2 to Polanco.
There have been 8 stolen bases against Colon, but in 15 tries. d'Arnaud behind the plate. Good arm, good throwing arm, and Colon will try to get the ball toward home plate by that slide step.
Line foul by about 5 feet. Polanco, one good series from getting his batting average up toward 300.
Opponents coming into the ball game off of Colon hitting .268. He's given up 21 home runs. Left-handers hitting .268, right-handers .269, so about even. 16 home runs allowed to left-handed hitters, which means California math only 5 to right-handers.
Colon with a nice fielding play. What a double play. He hit Cabrera on the run, right on the bag. Colon proving once again that pitchers are the best athletes on the team. Towards the end, got them into the playoffs. Of course, the hot streak took them all the way to the World Series, and they're doing that same thing again. They've won 17 of their last 24 ball games. Menard's batting order for the Mets: Reyes, Cabrera, Cespedes, Granderson, Bruce, Rivera, Loney, d'Arnaud, and Colon. Jose Barrios, throughout his professional career, has always kept his glove around the belt and then raising it shoulder level. The Twins are working with Barrios constantly, of course, and they now, after a bullpen session, are sending him out to the mound with his glove hand and his pitching hand raised over his head.
I like it. I like it already.
Strike one, now ball one.
You still have to get the ball over the plate, but what that does, and I did this, you know, it just makes you feel a little more comfortable out there. You're not like a robot to where you're just bringing your arm up, and he has that long arm anyway, and they're hoping that just going over the head will slow him down a little bit over the pitching rubber, so he allows that right arm to catch up.
2-1. And a foul. The way Neil Allen explained it to me, they've noticed with Barrios and also with Duffy that there's a lot of what he termed east and west movement, sideways movement. You know, turning the trunk and having the pitching arm fall way behind his back. And now a full count. And so they want him to go more north and south. Does that capsulize or summarize what the effect is?
Yeah, it's trying to get him to relax a little bit too. Got to throw a strike right here.
That's a leadoff walk.
This is what has been his problem, is not attacking the strike zone. 29 walks now in 44 2/3 innings.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins, an outfield of Rosario, Buxton, and Kepler. Escobar, Polanco left side of the infield. Dozier, Mauer on the right side, with Kurt Suzuki trying to bring Barrios into the strike zone and pitch ahead of batters instead of constantly behind them. Here is one of the Mets' hottest hitters, is Drupal Cabrera. Reyes still a threat to steal. Fouled back, a strike.
Yeah, Mets do not run a lot. They have 37 stolen bases. They've been caught 16 times. But Reyes 8 for 10 in stolen base attempts. And Cabrera, Twins saw a lot of him when he was with the Cleveland Indians from 2007 to a couple years ago. Last couple of years with the Nationals and the Rays in his first season with the Mets.
One strike to Cabrera. Reyes coming over to the Mets from the Rockies. Hurt for a while. Scored 21 runs in the last 23 games for the Mets. Just missing down and away, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, Reyes in his speed. He has over 280 major league stolen bases. So yeah, he can steal a base. Talking to first base coach Tom Goodwin, who also could steal a lot of bases.
Swing and a miss. Coming inside and getting a swing and a miss to make it 1-2. And a high fastball strikes him out. One
Good
down.
high fastball right there. Berríos picks up his first strikeout, number 43 in 44 2/3 innings. Good high fastball right here. That Cabrera swings through for the first out.
And that'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes very productive for the Mets after spending some time on the disabled list with a quadriceps injury. He was the guy that really ignited the Mets last year after being obtained from the Tigers. Off the end of the bat, a foul ball, and another 94-mile-per-hour fastball. We'll give Berríos this. He's trying to establish that fastball. I'm not sure we've seen anything but fastballs here in this first inning.
Cespedes signing as a free agent by the Mets, a 3-year contract. Suzuki. Another fastball away. Well, maybe a little throw over with the pinky.
Right on the outside corner again, a fastball at 94.
I think what we're all hoping for is Berríos goes 5, maybe 5 very good innings and then see where he's at. He just needs a good positive outing.
Something to build on, right? Build his confidence around. 0-2. And fouled back.
Yeah, it's not the stuff. Because he has that 94 to 96 mile an hour fastball. He'll mix in that hard breaking ball, kind of a hard slur between a curveball and a slider, and then a changeup. Trying to get him to relax, have some fun. You only usually have fun when you pitch well.
And he came inside with another fastball.
Good fastball up.
Still 2 strikes. Did you, it's a moot point now because he's pitching from the stretch, but did you tinker with your mechanics much when you were a younger pitcher?
No, the only thing I did was I utilized that slide step. That's the only thing I worked on. As far as staying over my head, I always did that in my windup. The only thing that changed for me was my landing spot, because I threw across my body very poorly when I first came up, and Marv Grissom change that very quickly.
2 strikes to Cespedes. Breaking ball, first one we've seen, I believe, tonight.
Yeah, it's that type of breaking ball. He's got to work and concentrate and focus on that breaking ball starting over the plate and then going away. That right there, he tried to look like he tried to hold on to it a little bit long.
Reyes at first after the leadoff walk.
You want to be able to get some breaking balls over early too when you have that opportunity, or the hitters are going to sit on one pitch, and that's dead red, the fastball. And by the way, Marv Grissom, he was my first pitching coach with the Twins under Bill Rigney back in 1970.
To right center. And Kepler with the catch, 2 away.
Yeah, good. Another good fastball, outer half of the plate. Sounded like Cespedes hit that ball off the end of his bat to create the second out.
And now Curtis Granderson.
Granderson having an off year as far as average wise, hitting only .221, but he does hit the ball over the fence. 26 home runs. I'm surprised that the RBIs are only at 49.
You look at the middle of the Mets lineup tonight, the front middle. You got Cabrera 19 home runs, Cespedes with 30, Granderson 26, Jay Bruce in the on deck circle with 29. On the outside corner, 1-1. So as Barrios is hoping to make some baby steps forward, I mean, if he can pitch through that lineup and not really be punished with the long ball, that would be a baby step in the right direction. 1-1. And a pop-up. Twins ran an infield shift, and the only infielder over there was Escobar. No chance for him to catch it.
Good fastball right there. Got in on Granderson, jammed him a little bit. Yeah, Twins saw a lot of Granderson when he came up with the Tigers back in 2004. Also spent time with the Yankees. He's in his 3rd season with the Mets. 3-time All-Star. Once with the Tigers, twice with the Yankees.
Well, Barrios doing a nice job keeping Reyes close at first. Throwing over there at least a half dozen times. th pitch of the inning. High fastball.
Curtis Granderson, not a lot of movement. You see where he stands in the batter's box. He's pretty still. Hands moving just a little bit. But that bat resting on that left shoulder and then brings it up a little bit. He's always had that uppercut type swing. That's why he's hit almost 300 major league home runs.
Another fastball up, and it's 3-2. Reyes will take off. Jay Bruce, a dangerous hitter on deck. And pitch elevated from where Suzuki wanted it, and Granderson fouled it back. There's the slugger, Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce coming over from the Cincinnati Reds.
Another 3-2 pitch. Missed inside. 2 walks in the inning. And Bruce will come up with 2 men aboard.
I think Kurt Suzuki really trying to establish that fastball and get it down. Right now everything's up a little bit. Probably a little too pumped up as Barrios. Suzuki got him to smile a little bit right there. It was a quick smile, but it's a little smile.
Since the Twins are playing the Mets, it's I don't think too much of an exaggeration to say that a lot of Twins fans were imagining Barrios to be the next Dwight Gooden in terms of having an immediate impact in the Twins rotation. That's obviously not been the case. See what he can get done here now after a couple of first inning walks. Fastball outside.
Just missing away. I mentioned Jay Bruce coming over from the Cincinnati Reds back on August 1st. Traded over to the Mets.
And Suzuki tried to buy him one, but it's 2-0.
Mets hit a lot of home runs, 197 on the year. First one away, this one. Well, belt high, not missing by much, says Fox Tracks.
Fouled away. Yeah, I was surprised in looking at the Mets history. I mean, they're on the verge of slugging the most home runs in franchise history. Their record is 200 back in 06, and they've already got 197. 2-1. And another fastball for a swinging strike. You see a fastball like that, and that's basically all that Berríos has been throwing, and I guess it's encouraging that there have been some swings and misses on his fastball.
It's got a little giddy up right now.
2-2. Just missed inside. 29th pitch of the first inning, and the Mets have only put one ball in play.
Yeah, since Jay Bruce joined the Mets, he's hitting only 192, but he does have 4 home runs.
Just missed again. 3 walks have loaded the bases. And that'll bring up T.J. Rivera.
And it'll bring out pitching coach Neil Allen, just try to calm him down a little bit. A lot of pitches thrown, or a quick trip to the mound by the pitching coach. 29 pitches already.
Now in a situation like this, you know, what would you do in terms of, would you pitch from the stretch, the windup? He has that option now.
Well, the windup's kind of new to him. I think since he's walked a couple in the stretch, I'd go to the windup right here. Maybe that's what Neil Allen's letting him know, suggesting. We'll see what Berríos wants to do.
Rivera hitting over 300, just a handful of at bats.
Yeah, Neil Walker was the second baseman, but he recently had back surgery, so second base is kind of an audition time right now for a guy like Rivera. Spent most of the season down in AAA. And he's going to stay in the stretch.
Ball 1. Thirty pitches, I think 29 fastballs, and not enough of them for strikes. Fly ball center field. Buxton back. Plenty of room to end the inning. Berríos survives some control problems. We're scoreless after 1. at the bases, but a couple of fly ball outs and a strikeout. No score as we go to the second. Twins eventually look like they're going to hit 200 or more home runs this year. The Mets might do it this weekend.
Yeah, Twins 183 home runs, most in the American League, as far ninth in the American League. Like it to be most, but second in the National League are the Mets with 197.
Max Kepler takes a breaking ball and strike one. Kepler hitting cleanup, then Suzuki and Escobar. Fouled away, 0-2.
What's amazing about Colon, and we'll see the foul balls off a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. It's almost like he's sneaky fast. That ball got on Kepler before he swung late.
And Kepler on 3 pitches is gone.
And what he has also, what he's learned is finger pressure on that baseball. He can make that two-seamer start inside and then come back. Watch this pitch right here. You see it come back over the plate for strike 3, so the second strikeout for Colon. Now what I mean about finger pressure is on that pitch right there, you put a little more pressure on your pointer finger over your middle finger, and that creates that almost backward type spin, like a screwball almost.
Here's Kurt Suzuki. Great career numbers against Colon, 5 for 13. You can see Kurt wearing a bandage on his chin. A couple of games ago in Detroit, he took another foul ball off the mask, and this gash required 5 stitches. Earlier he had one that took 8. Popped up, back, and Darno watches it go back in the seats. 1-1. And one thing that Colon does that Barrios doesn't do with his delivery, he takes the ball straight back, and a hitter doesn't see the ball until the point of release.
Well, we're talking about Corey Kluber. When Kluber pitched against the Twins, same thing. He doesn't bring that arm behind him, and that's a big body to hide the ball.
When I was talking with Neil Allen today, he said that's one of the things they're trying to do with both Duffy and Barrios. Imagine a right-handed pitcher with your back against the wall and you're pointing in the direction of your left shoulder. That's where home plate would be. To take the ball out of the glove and bring it straight back so your elbow doesn't hit the wall, which is right behind you.
Yeah, that's easier said than done when they have always thrown the way they throw. And Suzuki, these two were teammates in Oakland, and Suzuki chases a pitch out of the strike zone. So strikeout number 3 for Colon.
2 down, and now Escobar.
Darno sitting away, and you can see that fastball has got a little giddy up on it. It's a sneaky fastball.
Now Eduardo Escobar.
Well, they say sneaky weaky.
Escobar, till further notice, is going to be the Twins' third baseman. Trevor Plouffe is done for the year. Miguel Sano back in the Twin Cities with a bad back, hoping to play later this year. James Beresford might get some time at third base, and Colon works ahead again, 0-2.
Well, 23 pitches, 17 strikes for Colon.
Slap foul. Miguel Sano left the Twin City, or for the Twin Cities, from Detroit after the game yesterday to have his back examined. As of 5 o'clock this afternoon, no update from Paul Molitor. Tapped up the line, and a fair ball right to Loney. He goes to the bag, and another 1-2-3 second inning for Bartolo Colon.
Head into the bottom of the second. Before deciding to give Jose Barrios another start, Paul Molitor grabbed Eddie Guardado, Neil Allen, and Jose, and the four of them sat down and had a pretty lengthy discussion. They wanted to pick his brain to see how he really was truly feeling about how things were going lately, just how he was doing mentally. And the reason that Paul Molitor wanted to be in on that meeting was because he wanted to give him a hitter's perspective. He wanted to make sure that Jose really truly believes that, knows that a 94-mile-an-hour, located fastball can be effective here against top hitters. And he wasn't trying to get him to worry or be concerned about if he was going to get another start. They just wanted to make sure that he was feeling confident in himself and believing that these coaches really do feel like he has what it takes to be successful at this level. That was all that mattered. Now, Paul Molitor also mentioned that the fastball control wasn't just an issue up here. It was also an issue in AAA, guys. He said just because the results were there doesn't mean the command was there. So that is the biggest thing they need to worry about the next 3 times he is going to get a start.
Well, thank you, Audra. That meeting, of course, more about the mental side of things, and that was one of the big issues. And we've told you about Barrios now getting his first out with his hand being brought over his head in a full windup position. And I think we've seen 34 pitches and 33 fastballs. 1 breaking ball, no changeups yet. Here's d'Arnaud. And now a 1-hopper to the shortstop, Polanco. And a couple of quick outs.
Yeah, exactly what Barrios needs right here after 31 pitches in the first. Had 4 so far here in the second inning.
And now Bartolo Colon.
Well, definitely a fan favorite here. Colon hit his first major league home run earlier this year in Arizona.
And as you pointed out, battery mates exchanging pleasantries there. Former battery mates. And another fastball over for a strike.
That was in San Diego where he hit his home run.
Outside 1-1. And Barrios right back in the strike zone, just looking a whole lot more freer and easier here in the second inning. Ooh. Just off the corner. 40th pitch coming up for Barrios. Contact, and he gets a big ovation.
Hey, he knows he's going to get a fastball. Just swing.
He was
fouls it straight back.
There's a called third strike. Much better second inning with Barrios setting the Mets down 1-2-3. Powered by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. And by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. Well, we mentioned this is Paul Molitor's first trip here. This is your first trip here, right?
I don't think I was here in 2010. I don't believe I don't know. I forgot what happened yesterday. So all I know is when Johan Santana was with us, I remember that was at Shea Stadium.
When he pitched the shutout.
Yeah.
Here's Eddie Rosario to lead off the third.
Shaved my head.
And Rosario takes low, ball one. Rosario, Buxton, and Berrios. And over the inside corner, 1-1. Twins haven't made solid contact yet. They've hardly made contact. A couple of ground balls. One of them turned into a double play by Colon. Fouled back, and it's 1-2. Rosario hitting over 300 since his recall from Rochester. And takes outside. Boy, everything just seems to be in that 87 to 89 mile per hour range, doesn't it?
Just adds and subtracts a little bit. Again, great location.
He actually hit one at 92 tonight. Poke behind third, and it'll spin back near the tarp, and Reyes kind of cut his route a little short, as they say in football.
Well, he had that tarp down there. Maybe he thought he was a little closer to the tarp than he anticipated and kind of gave up on that the last second.
So Rosario will get another swing. And another foul ball. The schedule sets up well for the Mets. We mentioned before, if the season were to end today, they would be in the playoff field, but they have 3 games with the Braves after the Twins leave town, then 4 here with the Phillies, and they go to Miami and Philadelphia. So they have the advantage, if it is an advantage, of playing teams that are pretty much out of the race. Swing and a miss. Rosario swings through an 88 mile per hour fastball.
It kind of went up and in right there. Strikeout number 4 for Colon.
Well, give the background on this now.
I mean, this was Johan Santana on the bus. He was kind of complaining that Twins weren't scoring any runs, and I told him, if you go out and pitch a shutout,
so you actually
could shave my head
last night,
and he did.
While you were pitching?
Oh yeah, it was a challenge.
That was back on June 19th, 2007 at Shea Stadium, and he pitched a 4-hit shutout. That dog.
That was his first major league complete game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here's Buxton, 1-0. Half swing and a strike. Buxton had 2 big hits yesterday. A triple to the gap in left center field. And then he drove in a run with a base hit. On the outside corner, 1-2. Both pitchers have thrown almost exclusively fastballs here in the opening innings. Down and in.
Colon here tonight making his 497th career start. He has 70 games over 500, 231 wins, 161 losses. ERA just under 4. Has 36 complete games, 13 shutouts.
Picked up by Cabrera. Buxton retired, 2 down. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Coors Light. And since September 1st, the Twins leading all of baseball in home runs hit, 28 of them. Brian Dozier has a large number of those. And here is Jose Berrios. You look at the Twins 28 home runs, Seattle and Tampa Bay next, a few back. And Berríos takes a fastball, strike one. First major league at bat for Jose Berríos. Grounder right side, and he's got the first Twins hit. Berríos with a ground ball single to right. And we better get that baseball out of play.
And they will.
Just nice to see the young man smile. You wouldn't expect that it would be because of what he did at the plate. But the baseball taken out of play, and Berríos is aboard.
I got a fastball, just looked like he wanted to go the other way. Good piece of hitting right here. See, look at that. He just reached out and hit it in the right field.
Saw him before the game. I said, my best wish for you is that you go 0 for 4, meaning you at least have 4 at bats. And he ruined that in his first at bat. Here's Dozier. Struck out swinging on 3 pitches to start the ball game. One strike. That was an off-speed pitch, a rarity.
That was a changeup right there. I think when you've pitched as many innings as Colon has and as many starts, you start to read the hitters, and I think he knows that Dozier's going to be looking fastball dead red right off the get-go. Start him off with a changeup. Carno now sitting away.
Wrapped foul, another off-speed pitch. Dozier way out in front. One thing we've seen, any fastball in the strike zone, and Brian's been punishing it. There'll be some swings and misses, of course, but well, he's just been so efficient in swinging at the fastball in the strike zone. Behind in the count now, 0-2.
Looks like he's going back with another changeup.
Dozier had a big hit yesterday. He didn't hit it well, but he saw one of Mike Pelfrey's split finger pitches, and he swung and missed, and frankly looked bad at it. But then Pelfrey, I guess, made the mistake of throwing him pretty much the same pitch, and Brian made the adjustment and lined a 2-run single, which was later described by the manager as the biggest hit in the game.
Yeah, especially with first base open.
Right. Outside, 1-2. But I mean,
and then the pitch was a pretty good pitch. It was a good splitter down and away, and Brian just went out and hooked it into left field. And that gave the Twins a early 4-1 lead. And they ended up beating the Tigers 5-1.
1-2. Chopped up the line. And a fair ball, and Dozier will get an infield hit and send Berríos to second. And that will have 2 men aboard now for Joe Mauer. Neither base hit particularly hard, but the Twins have 2 base runners and a chance to break through with Mauer coming to the plate.
Well, take a look at this ball right here. Looks like it's going to go foul, but it's right over the bag. You can see Reyes getting the ball and really had no play.
Yeah. Actually did the smart thing by fielding it. If it had hit the base, it could have caromed away, and Berríos might have gotten another base. Mauer drew a walk with 1 out in the first. Ball 1. Mauer 3 for 4 with 2 walks. Excuse me, 1 walk. The one he got tonight against Colon. Two and 0.
Both pitches outer half of the plate. Sapsit is in left field, shading him a little bit, not that close to the left field line where Joe hits a lot of his doubles.
On the outside corner. I thought it was ball 3.
See what Fox Track says. It says it caught the corner.
And I believe Foxtrot. 2-1 to Mauer. Three and one. Polanco on deck. .49th pitch now for Cologne. Ball four, and they are loaded up.
Now we're taking a couple walks.
And Barrios' 2-out single suddenly has the Twins with a chance to put up a big number. September 20th is Ryder Cup night at Target Field. A limited number of Ryder Cup theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Ryder Cup themed Twins cap. You can learn more at twinsbaseball.com/Ryder Cup or call 800-33-TWINS. Polanco hit a comebacker. Wasn't really to the mound. It was between the mound and third base, and Cologne made a nice fielding play and a nice throw on the run to start a double play. Over the inside corner. And now outside. Well, the veteran struggling here in the third inning with Barrios' single opening the door a crack. An infield hit and walk have followed. And now 1-2. How many hundreds of times do you suppose Cologne has faced this exact situation?
Well, it looks like he's not worried. He's just kind of spinning the ball up. Just playing a little catch with my catcher. Almost 3,200 innings in the big leagues for Cologne.
1-2 to Polanco. Off the fists.
Yeah, fastball in. Got in the kitchen a little bit.
Look at the velocity, though. 93. He can reach back for a little extra when he needs it. Another 1-2 to Polanco. High fly to left. Cespedes near the line. Puts it away. Twins put together a 2-out threat. They leave the bases full as the Mets did in the first. today. The first time they've ever done this, and I'm guessing they'll do it again. A tremendous turnout. Earlier today at Target Field, over 2,000 volunteers took part in the first Pack at the Park. 544,320 meals were packed for Feed My Starving Children, which will be shipped to the Dominican Republic this winter and distributed in La Romana, which is near the Twins Academy. So a tremendous outpouring of generosity, volunteerism at Target Field today.
Yeah, congratulations to everybody that was involved in that.
Off-speed pitch over the outside corner, strike one to Reyes. Berrios relying almost exclusively on fastballs first time through the order, and now he starts Reyes with an off-speed pitch. And another one. 1-1. Reyes drew a walk, got as far as third base in the first inning.
You know, I just like that windup so much better for Berrios. It makes him look a little more relaxed.
Poke foul now.
You know, when you're doing what he's doing right there, it's almost like your arm is a sling and it's just going toward home plate rather than just being almost too tight without going over his head. But look at him right there. Look, watch right there. You see the whip.
And a breaking ball, spun foul.
You know, it used to be not going over the head. Now right there, right in here, you can see the long arm, but catching up, and then the follow through. It just looks more relaxed.
Breaking ball hit deep to right. Kepler back. Gone. A home run on a breaking ball. The third one that Reyes saw in the at-bat.
Yeah, that one kind of hung right there. Reyes with his 7th home run of the year. His 3rd as a left-handed hitter. That ball didn't have much bite on it right there. Watch the location. It just kind of spun. And Reyes just went down and hit it over that fence in right field. Mets take a 1-0 lead.
On their 198th home run of the year. Again, the club record is 200. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. Back to the fastball, missing ball one.
For Reyes, his 11th home run allowed, this being his 12th start.
2-0.
Excuse me, for Berrios.
There goes another one on the fastball. Reyes is on a breaking ball. Cabrera caught up with a fastball, and it's 2-0.
And home run number 20 for Cabrera, his 17th as a left-handed hitter.
Second trip to the mound by Neil Allen.
Neil Allen's going to go, and you know, it's just a location. The curveball that stayed up, and then the fastball stayed up to Cabrera. Not a lot of movement on that fastball. Cabrera knew it.
Well, a hitless first trip through the order. Now second time through, and the Mets tee off twice into the second deck here. And that'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes. Boy, it's got to be tough to alter your mechanics in this big stage when you haven't felt real good about what you've been doing out there, and he's trying to find something that works in the big leagues.
Well, he threw a lot of pitches in that first inning, 31, only 10 in the second. And you know, once your arm starts to tire a little bit, and I'm not saying it's tiring, but that velocity doesn't have the giddy up say he had in the first inning, that ball kind of flattens out a little bit.
Mauer over for a look and can't quite reach in to the camera well to make the catch. The ball was hitting the air a long time.
Yeah, what he really needs to concentrate on now, you see Joe going over to that railing, reaching over, and maybe ticking his glove.
One strike.
You almost want to try to drop a couple fastballs on top of home plate now. Another fastball up. You can almost see him get underneath that ball right there.
And when he's missed, and he missed a lot in the first inning, it was all up, wasn't it?
Everything's up. So you tell yourselves, yes, stay back, but try to hit the shin guards of Kurt Suzuki. Another fastball up.
Two and one. Breaking ball in the inside corner to even the count.
Sepsidis asking home plate umpire. He thought it might have been inside.
And another one popped up to center field. Buxton under it. One away. And before Granderson's at bat, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app. Take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. After tonight, 16 games left for the Twins, and we'll have them all on TV. Here is Granderson. Drew a walk in the first. And an off-speed pitch over
That's
for a
good
strike.
breaking ball right there.
I don't know if we've seen the changeup yet, have we?
Yeah, a couple times he started to actually ray us off with a couple changeups.
A fastball and strike two.
Now ahead in the count right here.
One and two. Another high fastball. You look at the Mets lineup: Reyes, Cabrera, Cespedes, Granderson, Bruce, Loney. I mean, they're veteran hitters who don't expand the strike zone. That's why they've lasted as long as they have. Pat Dean getting loose. Popped up. On the infielder is Escobar. A long run, and he won't get there. And the Twins with the pull shift on, and Escobar was lined up about where the shortstop would normally be. Go full count to Granderson. This one in fair territory. Dozier out, Kepler in. Two down. The outs, with the exception of one ground ball, have come on pop-ups and fly balls.
Yeah, because his fastball doesn't have a lot of movement. He has yet to really throw that, say, two-seamer that has that good sink to it. Everything's pretty straight, even though it's at 94, 95. Major league hitters will catch up to it.
Bruce with a walk, the third of the first inning, but the Mets didn't score. And then Barrios, the bottom third of the Mets lineup, had a 1-2-3 second. Greeted with a pair of home runs to start the third inning.
They tried to change up right there and missed.
1-0. Another pop up, this one into the seats. 1-1. And then he threw a fastball by him. 1-2. And he blew him away at 95. Once on a curveball, once on a home run, or on a fastball. The Mets hit 2 home runs to take a 2-0 lead. Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? Jose Reyes with a home run. Followed by Asdrubal Cabrera with a home run, 2-0. And now Max Kepler will lead things off in the fourth. Kepler struck out looking in the second. He's just taken ball one from Bartolo Colon. That's to left. Cespedes drops the ball. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Tried to hot dog it and didn't catch it. Wow.
Well, Cespedes, a guy who won a Gold Glove. Ball hit right at him right there. Comes in, tries to catch it at around his thigh area rather than just in and out of the glove.
Kepler's aboard, and now Kurt Suzuki.
Yeah, Cespedes won a Gold Glove when he was with the Tigers just last year.
Anybody can drop a ball, but it just looked like he just flipped the glove out trying to nonchalant it. And Kepler dives back.
Well, I think if you showed that again, he was not watching the flight of the ball. They just put the glove down and the ball ended up hitting the glove. So little lack of concentration right there and focus.
Closer play and Kepler's back.
Kepler 5 for 5 in stolen base attempts.
And another close play at first and a nice scoop by Loney.
Yeah, nice jump over Kepler. Loney. Watch Loney right here. Little step over.
The Mets aren't going to challenge that. That was a close play. Or are they going to challenge it? Colon, I believe, was on the rubber, and now he's going to come and, yeah, they're going to take a look at it. That was a close play. And here in the fourth inning, the Mets are going to use a challenge.
Now, Colon has 4 pickoffs this year. And they're going to see if Kepler was tagged before he could get that hand on the bag. Take another look right here.
Yeah, I think he's out.
Watch Loney getting the short hop and then tagging the side of Kepler.
Now, we're talking about a frame or two difference here, and we'll see whether they've. Usually we say back in New York. Well, we're in New York, so this should be a quick one, right?
Yeah, they showed it on the big screen right here, and I think the out call is going to be called, and it is. So Colon gets his 5th pickoff of the year. And Kepler make another look right here. The short hop, and then that short hop kind of brought his glove right into the rib area of Kepler.
So that takes care of the Cespedes error. And Suzuki swings and misses on a pitch darting inside.
A change up right there.
Right center, fairly deep, chased by Bruce. Near the edge of the track, 2 down. Carsoup.com trivia question tonight. Who's the oldest pitcher in Mets history to win a game?
Jesse Orosco.
That's not bad. That's a pretty good guess.
What makes you think that's a guess? I was thinking John Franco too. He pitched a long time here, but I don't know if he got into his 40s.
1 strike to Escobar. 2 strikes.
Going inside.
Will pop up to left. Cespedes.
I bet he catches it. Fans let him know.
2-0 New York. Of home runs in the 3rd inning. 4th inning started with Bartolo Colon getting a little fly ball to left and Cespedes dropping it. Colon, so I got you.
I got you, but you know what? I was kind of like, okay, hey, you know, it happens. Don't do it again.
He really did have his back. He picked off the runner without throwing it before, throwing a pitch to the next batter. Here's T.J. Rivera. And a breaking ball missing inside. Rivera hit a fly ball to center, leaving the bases full in the 1st inning. A fastball away.
Yeah, Rivera, a local product, born in the Bronx here in New York. Signed as a free agent by the Mets in 2011. Good minor league numbers. A career .324 minor league hitter.
And a base hit over the reach of Escobar. A leadoff single for the Mets here in the 4th. Well, the first time in a while that Barrios will go back into the stretch position. And he'll face James Loney.
Yeah, Rivera fought off that fastball. Hit it in the left.
Loney fouled out to Suzuki. His first time up. Suzuki with another trip to the mound.
Yeah, Loney new to the Mets this year. He actually went to spring training with the Tampa Bay Rays. He was released in early April, signed with the Padres, and then the Mets purchased him from the Padres on May 28th.
Ball outside. Now when Reyes was aboard in the 1st inning, Barrios, I thought, did a really nice job holding him at first, threw over there a bunch of times, make sure there wasn't a stolen base attempt. Teams have been 4 for 5 against Barrios. past a diving Dozier into right center field. Rivera digging for third. And the Mets start the fourth inning with a pair of hits.
Again, Berrios leaving some pitches up. That fastball, once in a while we'll see it at 94, 95, but you can see the location. Again, belt high away. Watch the location.
Fox Tracks presented by Ram.
And Loney hitting it sharply. Dozier diving for it. It's by him. And Rivera going from first to third.
Now d'Arnaud and then Colon. So this isn't quite as desperate as it might look. If Berrios can get d'Arnaud, you'd like to think he can get Colon. And then with 2 outs, maybe you can get Reyes. First and third, nobody out now. Check swing. Ball 1. d'Arnaud with a bouncer to short. Twins infield playing back. They'll concede another run if he hits another potential double play grounder. And now 2-0.
Travis d'Arnaud, 27 years old. We saw his younger brother Chase d'Arnaud with the Braves. He played the Braves in Minnesota and also in Atlanta. Both of them brought up in Southern California.
Popped up. And Escobar in foul ground nearly has to climb over Tim Teufel. Now what's the ruling there? Teufel was in the box, but base runners have to let fielders field the ball. Don't coaches also have that obligation to get out of the way?
I would think if there was contact, and if this ball was not being able to be caught right there, a little contact right there, you see Teufel, even though he's in the box, he has to attempt to get out of the way of that infielder.
So 1 down, and now Colon struck out looking his first time up. Tim Teufel hit maybe the most famous inside the park home run in Twins history at the Metrodome in '85. Colon squaring and jabbing at it. 1 strike.
Yeah, this isn't going to be really a squeeze type situation. This is going to be maybe trying to get the runner from first to second. Teufel going through a set of signs to Bartolo Colon. Colon has 3 sacrifices on the year. Escobar will be charging if Colon spins around here. He's swinging away.
And Suzuki has to backhand it and gestures back to the mound, signaling something to Berrios. 1-1.
Mauer's got to come charging in once that ball goes toward home.
On the outside corner. And Colon made contact.
Let's take it to home run, and he hit off of James Shields and in San Diego. How about that? His first major league home run. They gave him the silent treatment and then pounded on him.
55 at bats this year, 35 strikeouts. 1 and 2 now from Berrios. And there's strike 3, another strikeout. 2 down, and now the Mets still have runners on the corners with 2 away, and Berrios will go after Reyes. 2017 season tickets are on sale now. You can choose from the full season, partial season, or the ever popular Flex plan. All season ticket packages include membership and Sweet Spot, the Twins season ticket benefits and rewards program. Go to twinsbaseball.com. Call 612-375-7454 for more info.
Yeah, just don't hang this guy a curveball. You're going to throw him a breaking ball, make it a hard one. Good
and
pitch.
a weak little pop up, and Escobar takes it away from Polanco. And Berríos gives up a couple of hits, but gets the 8th batter, the 9th batter, and the leadoff batter. It's still 2-0.
Circle, and Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games, you'll bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself on a Minnesota Lottery winner circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
And Colon comes inside, clips the corner on Rosario. Strike one. Rosario struck out swinging in the 3rd inning, leading off the inning. The only threat the Twins have had came after the 2nd out of the 3rd. Bouncer to second, easy play for Rivera. 1 down. And before Byron Buxton comes to the plate, let's check in with Audra Martin.
Well, guys, earlier today I asked Paul Molitor about Bartolo Colon, and he laughed and he said, you know, it isn't too common where the manager has more at-bats against a pitcher than most of his players. But speaking of those at-bats, Paul Molitor's last game as a player was on September 27th, 1998, and the opposing pitcher for the Indians was, guess who? Bartolo Colon. Now, Molitor went 1 for 3 against him in the Twins win, but also 3 batters after Molly in the lineup was Doug Minkiewicz, who is the latest Twins coaching call-up. He's with the team now and will be here for the next couple of weeks. Guys?
Yeah, there's Doug right there. Manager Chattanooga, AA affiliate for the Twins. A chance to say hello to Doug this afternoon. Very, very happy to be here.
Replacing Chad Allen, who was a AAA hitting coach and was here for the first couple of weeks of September. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Buxton.
Yeah, Chad Allen went back to Texas. His father is having surgery, so we wish Mr. Allen the best of luck.
Logan Schaefer's in the on-deck circle. Looks like Berríos is done for the night. And Buxton swings and misses. 2 down.
A little sinker right there. Bartolo Colon picking up his 5th strikeout. Little movement on this pitch. You can see the sink on it. Again, the finger pressures that he's learned over the years to make that ball move and dip and go sideways.
2 down, and now Schaefer hitting for Berríos, who will finish this season 1 for 1 as a big league hitter.
He and Tommy Malone. I think Tommy Malone is he. I think he is 2 for 2
this year.
Tommy Malone, yeah. So look at that.
2 for 2, yeah.
Yep. Pitchers can hit, kinda. Some of them. Well, not all of them. Just some.
So you just thought about your own career there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Twins actually don't have a very full bench with Sano back in the Twin Cities. Trevor Plouffe back in the Twin Cities. Schaefer getting the call here with 2 down.
A second pinch hit performance for Schaefer.
Check. 1 and 2. Beresford, Centeno, Murphy, Vargas, and Grossman, the rest of the bench players. So Twins will go to the bullpen here in the 5th inning, getting 4 innings and 2 runs allowed by Berríos. Just off the plate, and both pitcher and catcher thought it was strike 3.
You know, I'm going to say something that Twins fans will probably say, well, you know, hey, he still gave up 2 runs, but I thought Berríos, especially last inning, worked out of that 1st and 3rd situation. That ball maybe clipping the corner, but called a ball. You know, 80 pitches, a little bit too high, but I thought he pitched well. It's stepping stones, slow stepping stones for Berríos.
Well, again, he's always pitched the way he used to pitch, and I don't know how much of an alteration it is to ask a young guy to, you know, pick his hands up, bring them over his head, and pitch that way for the first time. But gave up 4 hits over 4 innings, had some control issues, gave up 2 home runs, but 2 runs in 4 innings. That's one of his better outings. And now Colon comes back inside, flips the corner. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Colon. And Mountain Dew fans of the game hoping the Twins can come back after a couple of solo home runs by the Mets. Michael Tonkin will relieve Jose Berríos in the 5th.
Yeah, Michael Tonkin coming in after Berríos worked the first 4 innings, gave up 2 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. So Tonkin making his 60th relief appearance. 74 strikeouts in 65 2/3 innings.
Tonkin will face Cabrera, Cespedes, and Granderson. I think the Twins were preparing for the possibility that they'd be going to the bullpen early today. That's been the routine when Berríos makes a start. There are some arms out there that are off limits. Chaguas pitched 5 of the last 7 games. We wouldn't expect to see him, even though he's pitched awfully well. We saw Pat Dean warm up earlier. He didn't pitch at all in the Detroit series.
Michael Tonkin worked twice in Detroit, Monday and Wednesday. On Wednesday's ball game, he gave up 2 runs, both unearned, and had 3 strikeouts.
Breaking ball misses
in the 1 inning he worked.
2-1. 6 right-handers. And they've been used a lot lately. Up and away. 3-1. And a walk to start the 5th inning. And that'll bring up Cespedes. Twins have 6 left-handed relievers too. Just in the matchup with the Tigers, they weren't asked to pitch that many innings. Cespedes with a fly to right and a fly to center. One and 0. Tonkin fighting the strike zone a little bit here. Mets just 30-28 since the All-Star break, but they've been pretty good in late August and so far in September. 1-1. Ten games behind the Nationals. Nice pick by Polanco. Double play. Jorge Polanco fielding a one-hop smash. 2 down.
That ball came up on him too a little bit right at the end. Cespedes hitting this ball sharply, but Polanco was playing it deep short. Able to get that ball in his glove, flip it over to Dozier quickly, and complete the double play. Cespedes reaching out, and a one-hopper came up on him, but he stayed with it. Good feed to Bryant, and over to Mauer for a 6-4-3 double play.
Bases empty, 2 down for Granderson, who takes ball 1.
The 5th double play turn behind Tonkin on the season.
Popped up, and again a long run for Escobar, and he has no play. Twins keep shifting Granderson, and he keeps hitting pop-ups over near the tarp in the Twins dugout. Escobar is getting his exercise in. A ball down and in, 2-1.
Granderson, 35 years old now. He made his major league debut against the Twins back in 2004. He is a September call-up by the Tigers. Went 0 for 4 against the Twins. And Brad Ratke. Twins won that game 5-3.
3-1.
.289 career home runs for Granderson.
Fly ball left field. Rosario with the catch. And Tonkin faces just 3 men in the 5th. Field single by Brian Dozier, extending his hitting streak to a career high 20 games. 20-game hitting streak with a lot of power in it.
You know what? And I look at the .378 batting average. That's what has impressed me. Of course, the home runs, 41 home runs. He's closing in on, on 100 runs batted in. But he's scoring runs. He's getting on base, making a lot of things happen.
Strike on the outside corner. Paul Molitor said before the game, you look at Colon, you really don't see a lot of balls being squared up because of a lot of movement on his fastball, and that's been the case here tonight. Twins haven't hit anything hard, really. 1-1. Barrios got a hit, bouncing one through the right side of the infield, and then Dozier followed with a number in front of the third base bag.
You know, Jim Perry won the Cy Young Award for the Twins in 1970. He changed speed so well. Didn't have an overpowering type of breaking ball. He just changed speeds, worked in and out. He won 24 ball games in 1970, winning and won the Cy Young. Then you think of a guy like Catfish Hunter that wasn't overpowering, but boy, he could hit his spots. Colon tonight, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
1-2 to Dozier.
He's given up only 2 hits.
Speaking of the Cy Young Award, 10 years ago this year, Johan Santana won his second for the Twins. He also won one in 2004, and if you ask Johan, he will tell you that he pitched his best in 2005 when Bartolo Colon won the American League Cy Young Award. 2-2. Popped up, backing out of play. Now Colon that year had a good year. He won 21 games for the Angels, lost 8, and had an ERA of 3.48. But other than the 1-loss record, Santana outpitched him in every major category. Innings pitched, Santana had 231 innings. Colon 222. Told you Colon's ERA 3.48. Santana's 2.87. 2-2. And so you can understand why Santana feels that he should have perhaps won 3 straight Cy Young Awards, something that's never been done in the American League. Randy Johnson won 4 straight in the National League, and so did Greg Maddux, but no American League pitchers ever won 3 straight. 2-2 to Dozier. Three and 2. Now you told me the other day Johan still hopes to come back, right?
Yeah, 37 years old. I talked to him the other day, and he's working out, and he's hoping to. He'd like to come back for the Twins. So there might be a tryout in the future for Santana.
Full count to the leadoff man in the 6th, and Dozier fouls another one. He's really having a good at bat here against Bartolo Colon. Colon with just 81 pitches thrown. We expected he might be out there longer tonight than Barrios.
Well, he used a lot of them in the 3rd inning, 29 of them.
Poke to right, hanging in the air for Bruce. 1 down. And that'll bring up Mauer. Love Your Melon Nights coming up a week from tonight, I believe. Nope, a week from last night. September 22nd on your calendars. A limited number of special ticket packages include a game ticket and a Twins Love Your Melon beanie. It will be next Thursday at Target Field. Every ticket sold supports Love Your Melon's program to give a hat to every child battling cancer in the U.S. For details and tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/loveyourmelon. Here's Mauer. He's walked twice and he takes strike 1.
Yeah, breaking ball right there for strike 1.
One and 1. Mauer's walked twice. This from a guy who's had 10 starts this year where he didn't walk 1 man.
They're really trying to work that ball away to Joe. He had not really come inside that often in these 2 previous at-bats, and Garneau again sitting outside.
2 and 1. I mentioned Joe Not recently, of course, but he's had some success against Cologne. 3 for 4. That's hit to left and hit well. Cespedes drifting back, makes the catch. About 10 feet short of the warning track. 2 down. And that'll bring up Polanco. And our carsoup.com trivia question. I don't think Satchel Paige ever pitched for the Mets. So how about the guy we're showing you, Cologne?
Wow.
Warren Spahn.
Wow.
Finished his career with the Mets and beat the Phillies. Did you ever meet Warren Spahn?
Yes, I did. Very, very nice man.
Inside strike to Polanco.
For the Mets' first year, 1962.
Yep.
Their 55th year.
And stroked solidly to center by Polanco. A 2-out single.
Only the 3rd hit for the Twins.
Last 2 balls have been hit pretty sharply. At least the 2 sharpest hit balls so far tonight for the Twins, and that'll bring up Kepler. Kepler hit a sinking line drive in front of Cespedes. Cespedes had every opportunity to make the catch, but he kind of nonchalanted it and dropped it, and then Kepler was picked off before there was a pitch to the next batter. Twins need a jolt here from Max Kepler. And almost the same ball he hit in the 4th inning. And Cespedes with the catch, and the Twins are done in the 6th. 6 shutout innings for Bartolo Colon. Four hits, 2 home runs, the only runs on the board so far. And now left-hander Pat Dean will come out of the Twins bullpen.
Yeah, Pat Dean made some starts for the Twins, now in that bullpen, his 17th appearance overall. 58 innings, 21 walks for Pat Dean. See if he can have a shutout inning like Michael Tonkin did to keep it at a 2-0 deficit.
Jay Bruce, T.J. Rivera, and James Loney will bat. Down and away, ball 1. Dribbler charging is Polanco. Scoops and fires one away. And that'll bring up Rivera.
Good location, a little breaking ball right there by Dean. Gets the ground ball out. Pat Dean did not work in that 4-game series in Detroit. He last worked on Sunday against the Indians. Gave up no runs, but 4 hits in an inning and 2/3. Making his 9th relief appearance.
Left-handed batter Bruce is retired. Now a righty Rivera, then another lefty James Loney. Cleveland Indians are pummeling Michael Fulmer and the Detroit Tigers tonight, 6-1. Fouled away.
That's Corey Kluber, I believe, pitching for Cleveland.
Guessing that lead will be pretty safe. What do you think about the Tigers shifting their rotation, set up Fulmer and Verlander in the first 2 games of the Cleveland series, which meant that neither would pitch against the Twins?
You know, every win is so important, and when you start thinking, hey, they kind of said, okay, we're going to take the Twins for granted. We're going to win at least 3 out of 4. Well, they started Mike Pelfrey, and it didn't work out that way.
That's kind of my reaction too. I remember last year when the Mariners did that in July against the Twins. They pushed Felix Hernandez back because they wanted him to pitch against, I believe it was Oakland, a divisional rival. And if you just look at it simply, there's a number out there, number of wins that a team will need to get into the playoffs. And whether you get a win against the Twins or one against the Indians, that number is going to be fixed, whether it's 87, 88, whatever it is this year. Stroked solidly right center field. Kepler's going to try to cut it off. He does. And the throw coming into second base is on the money, but not in time. Loney with a double. A 2-out double here in the 6th.
Yeah, Loney picks up his 2nd hit, but Kepler could not have played that any better than he did and made it close at second base. We've seen Kepler with a very strong arm, a very accurate arm out in right field. A breaking ball just stayed on the same plane, and Loney hitting it sharply, but Kepler hustling over there to his right, gets to it, spins. Or he actually didn't spin, but makes a good strong throw to Dozier. And Loney's right hand just on the bag, and it's a double. For Loney, his 14th double of the year. And the 5th hit for the Mets.
Travis d'Arnaud will bat. Number 8 batter with first base open. Campbell's come out onto the on-deck circle. He apparently will hit for Cologne, so that's the good news. It looks like Cologne is done for the night if his spot comes up. You can force the hand here if you'd like and walk d'Arnaud and get Campbell to the plate, hope to get him, and then get Cologne out of the game. Twins haven't done much against him. And a 2-0. Former Met and former Twin manager Ron Gardenhire would always talk about the perils of batting 8th in a National League lineup. You have to have at bats like this where you might not get anything to hit. There's a strike, 2-1.
Well, Cologne with 89 pitches in 6 shutout innings. He's only gone 100 or more pitches only 5 times this year. So, they kind of monitor Cologne and his pitch counts.
Plus, I mean, the guy's old. He's probably
not that old to us. He's still young.
Getting close to his bedtime pretty soon. 3-1.
Well, we should have been asleep an hour ago then.
And there's another strike, 3-2. Dean getting a couple of called strikes, and it's a full count. See what he gives d'Arnaud on 3-2.
Fastball away.
Chopped foul.
Darno in his 4th season with the Mets. There's Colon.
I don't know if he's out of the game necessarily or not. They've got bullpen activity, and if Darno's retired here, they may send him back out for another inning.
So Campbell could be a decoy.
We'll find out as we go to the 7th inning. The Mets still in front, 2-0.
Well, coming into the ball game, Bartolo Colon's going to attack the strike zone. 6 strikeouts for Colon. He's walked only 1. He's given up only 3 hits, all of them singles. 1 to the pitcher, Barrios, but back-to-back home runs for the Mets off of Reyes and Cabrera's bat. Made it a 2-0 ball game. The 11th time this year they went back-to-back as far as home runs. And the Mets have that 2-0 lead, so Bartolo Colon is back out there for his 7th inning of work.
We'll face Kurt Suzuki, Eduardo Escobar, and Eddie Rosario. Twins still very much in this game, just down by a couple of runs, and see if they can get the leadoff man on here in the 7th. Suzuki takes outside ball 1.
And 90 pitches now for Colon. 64 have been strikes.
Twins had 1 threat. Barrios, of all people, started a 3rd inning rally with a 2-out single. Dozier singled, Mauer walked, bases loaded, but Colon, there's a ball lifted to left center field. Cespedes chasing it, still on the grass, 1 away. Polanco was retired. That was the end of the threat. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Positive Coaching Alliance and its mission to develop better athletes, better people, by working to provide all youth and high school athletes a positive character building sports experience. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. And now Escobar, a ground ball and a fly ball. Inside ball 1.
Yeah, there's only been 3 ground ball outs off the bats of the Twins. A lot of fly ball outs to go with the 6 strikeouts Colon has. One of the ground ball outs ended the 1st inning on Polanco's double play.
Loney with a diving stop. Colon at the bag, 2 down. Nice play by James Loney, and Colon still able to get over to the bag ahead of Escobar.
Yeah, Loney's always been a very good defensive first baseman, and maybe taking a base hit away from Escobar, diving to his right. Colon over there, getting that right foot on the bag for the 2nd out. Nice play by Loney. Nice play by Colon getting over there.
2 outs, 2 quick outs here in the 7th, and now Rosario, who has struck out and bounced out. popped up. And Colon has his quickest inning on 5 pitches. He sets the Twins down 1-2-3. To you by T-Mobile. Max Scherzer with 4 innings and 5 strikeouts, 256 strikeouts, leading Major League Baseball. David Ortiz with his 115th run batted in as the Red Sox have a lead on the Yankees 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Chris Davis with his 38th home run of the year. The Rays are leading the Orioles 4-3. That's in the top of the 8th inning. What a crushing defeat for the Yankees last night as the Red Sox scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, they look like they were on due for a win, but the Boston Red Sox and their offense, my goodness, they've scored over 800 runs already this year. Here's Pat Light. He'll be the 3rd reliever coming out of the bullpen. Michael Tonkin, Pat Dean both did a good job. And Pat Light making his 14th relief appearance. 2 of them with the Boston Red Sox before he came over to the Twins.
Alejandro De Aza will hit in the pitcher spot. Twins saw a lot of De Aza when he was with the White Sox, then briefly with the Orioles. Ball 1. And over the course of September, with call-ups and some auditioning being done for bullpen spots next year, you know, Light's certainly made an impression when he's thrown the ball over the plate. His last couple outings, he hasn't walked anybody, hasn't given up a run. And JT Chargois really turned a corner, it appears. And that is a base hit into left center field. Light using his fastball more frequently now. When he first was promoted by the Twins, we saw one splitter after another. Leadoff single for De Aza here in the 7th.
Yeah, De Aza used the most off of that bench, picks up his 13th hit as a pinch hitter in 49 at-bats.
We'll bring up Reyes. Clobbered a curveball over the fence in right. Mets went back-to-back against Berríos to open up the 2-0 lead. Bunted foul. We're talking about Chargois. I guess what's really impressive is Paul Molitor has put him in some high pressure situations, getting big outs in innings 6, 7, and 8. And Light maybe beginning to turn the corner as well, with the ability to throw the ball over the plate. 2 1/3 innings, just 1 hit allowed, now 2. There's the splitter. And it's 0-2. In the dirt. Nice scoop by Suzuki. Ryan O'Rourke warming up behind light. One and two. He's lucky to get a piece of that. That pitch from the center field camera looks like it drops 1.5 feet.
It's almost like I've mentioned before, almost like a hard knuckleball. Take a look at the last pitch right here, that split finger.
Coming across the letters, and then it ends up down on your knees. Oh,
Ooh.
Suzuki got another one. You can see he wears the bandage on his chin. He's had the wound open up the original time and 2 later times, including 2 nights ago. You know, a padded bandage, that's about all they can do. That one at least a glancing blow off the side of the mask. But it hurts.
He's a dog back there, I'll tell you.
1-2. And there's a strikeout on the splitter. 1 down.
Yeah, we showed you the mask of Suzuki right there. He's got like extra padding around the cheek area just to take some of the blow in case of a foul ball does come. And Reyes swings at a good split finger for a strikeout.
You know, the lighter blue area there, you're right. Take him on the mask like that, you just hope you're looking in the right dugout. Here's Cabrera. Fastball inside. Another fastball missing. Two and 0 to Asdrubal Cabrera. Another fastball missing low.
Again, Light coming into the ballgame, even though his last couple outings good overall. 13 innings pitched, 11 walks, 12 strikeouts now.
There's a good fastball on the outside corner. We've seen 94 and 95. We've not seen the 98, 99 that Light was advertised to have. Missing low, and a walk will send Diaz to second base. And Cespedes will bat. Zubaz Palooza is back September 23rd. The special ticket package includes a game ticket and your very own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zubaz pants. It's available exclusively by logging on to twinsbaseball.com/Zubaz.
You still have your Zubas?
Yeah, I've got them going back to when they were really originally popular. I don't wear them very often, but they're obviously very noticeable when I do. Here is Cespedes. A fly to right, a fly to center, and he hit a one-hop smash that Polanco deftly fielded. Started a double play.
That might be the last batter that Light faces here. Hopefully he can get a double play. Saw Ryan O'Rourke warming up with Granderson and Bruce. Due up after Cespedes. Two left-handed hitters.
Still very much in the game here, but now the Mets have runners at first and second with one down. Light's splitter in the dirt on the first pitch. And a base hit up the middle on the fastball. Buxton's throw on one hop to Mauer. And Diaz scores from second base.
Well, he fell behind, came in with a fastball. Cespedes picks up his 80th RBI of the year. And Paul Molitor will be coming out. You see the high fastball, and Cespedes, who does not get cheated swinging that bat, lines it up the middle.
And again, the location of the fastball, belt high, and the veteran hitter was able to jump on it and make it a 3-0 ball game. Light leaves with one out and runners at first and second. Inning, and the Mets with a extended threat here. Ryan O'Rourke will come in to try to get Curtis Granderson and Jay Bruce.
Yeah, Ryan O'Rourke's been pretty good out of that bullpen as of late, making his 20th relief appearance. He did not pitch in that 4-game series in Detroit. Last time he pitched was Sunday, just a third of an inning, retired the batter he's asked to face.
Granderson walked his first time up. A couple of outfield flies have followed. Oh my goodness. Here comes the manager, and here comes Dane Prumer with a towel.
I don't know if that got the mask or part of Suzuki. We're going to have to wait and see, but
sounded like I got the mask.
Yep. Wow.
Right in the chin area, the lower part of the mask. Oh, good. Second one this inning.
Trying to play through it. He'd been swinging a hot bat. He wants to play. But Dave Prumer right there.
You know, as Kurt said, when he first cut it, it really hurts. You imagine cutting your chin, the skin being compressed so sharply that your chin is cut, and now it's been reopened twice, and he's taken 2 foul balls off the mask in this inning. You can see from that angle too the extra padding that Bert was talking about. But there's only so much it can do. 1 strike. Remember when the Twins had Mike Redmond catching, and we would show him from the center field camera, and he would duck every time the pitch approached home plate. I think I know why now. If Kurt Suzuki starts ducking, he's got every reason to.
You know, a lot of times when somebody hits a home run, the fastball will come in at 95 and it'll leave at 106, 107. Well, same thing for a foul ball. You know, Rourke can throw that fastball at 91, 92. That foul ball right there might have hit him.
High fly to right. Kepler retreating to the corner with room, and no one will tag. Cabrera would have had an opportunity to advance easily on that ball.
Yeah, a little surprised Cabrera did not tag up and went to third. But let me finish that. You know, 91, 92, he fouls it off. It still could come back and hit him in the mask at 100 miles an hour.
And then just imagine, I'm not a physicist, but for the ball to hit the bat and then hit the mask, there's got to be an incredible amount of spin on the ball, and it just digs into the mask before caroming away because of the spin. Here's Jay Bruce. Breaking ball, strike 1.
Yeah, good breaking ball right there by O'Rourke. What's helped Ryan, I think, get better, Ryan O'Rourke, is that split finger that he's come up with. He's always had a good hard slider. Now he's added the splitter.
1 hopper to Dozier. Nice job by O'Rourke. He keeps the damage to a minimum. It's a 3-0 Mets lead as we go to the 8th.
Wow.
Justin Upton with a 3-run home run off Kluber to try to make that closer. De Aza taking over in center field, and Granderson moving over to right.
So Jay Bruce out of the ball game, and in for Bartolo Colon is Addison Reed in his 2nd season with the Mets, having an outstanding job out of the bullpen, making his 72nd relief appearance. 54 hits in 69 and 2/3 innings, only 12 walks, 4 of those intentional, with 80 strikeouts.
Closer is Jerry's Familia. And so here in the 8th inning, the Mets are hoping that Reed can set the Twins down in order. First man is Byron Buxton, and Grossman's in the on deck circle. He apparently will hit in the pitcher spot. Buxton 0 for 2, grounder to short and a strikeout.
Reed with a good fastball, hard slider, very good changeup. There's a slider right there. Twins saw Reed a little bit when he was with the White Sox when he first came up back in the 2011. Spent a couple, 3 seasons with the White Sox, then a couple with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Slider away, and it's a swinging strike. 0-2.
Tall right-hander at 6'4", 230, throws across his body a little bit.
1-2.
Almost that sidearm type angle he'll give that right-handed hitter.
The best bullpens seem to be those that have relievers who aren't closers, who used to be closers or could be closers. Buxton strikes out 1 down.
One thing the Mets have, they have a very solid bullpen. They came into this ball game with a 3.57 earned run average as a ball club. The starters 3.57, the bullpen 3.57.
Tonight's Toyota Key stat, you can see before the All-Star break, the Mets starters okay by National League standards. They've been better in the second half, and the bullpen leaking a little oil in the second half, but not Reed. Here's Grossman, birthday boy, celebrating a birthday today, and the first pitch popped up to Cabrera, 2 down. Bobby Grossman having a birthday today. 2 away in the 8th, and that'll bring up Brian Dozier. With Miguel Sano and Trevor Plouffe back home, and the hope is both will be able to play, but I think there's more reason to believe Sano might be able to play again. Paul Molitor's been faced, of course, with the challenge. You got a guy hitting 41 home runs. You want to move him out of the leadoff spot into the middle of the lineup. Paul addressed it today in meeting with the media. He says, well, of course it's tempting, but you know, the lineup has continued to produce runs, and one of the reasons it's produced runs is Brian has been so productive and comfortable in the leadoff spot.
Right.
So you don't want to try to fix what ain't broken. So for now, at least, Dozier's still in the leadoff spot, 1-1. An infield hit in 3 tries, extending his hitting streak to 20 games. And then 2, who would you have hitting leadoff in the absence of Brian Dozier? Buxton's not ready for it yet. I suppose Polanco could hit there, but
now tonight I would have put Barrios in a leadoff spot. He got 1 of the 3 hits.
1-2 to Dozier. Darno sets up outside, and a high fastball gets Dozier. A 1-2-3 8th for Reed. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And Buddy Boshears will pitch for the Twins to T.J. Rivera, James Loney, and Travis d'Arnaud.
Yeah, Michael Tonkin, Pat Dean, Pat Light, and Ryan O'Rourke, and now Buddy Boshears relieving Jose Barrios, who went the first 4 innings. For Boshears, he worked once in that Detroit series, a shutout inning in the Twins' 8-1 win on Tuesday.
And look who's back behind the plate. I thought the Twins, with a couple of catchers available to them, would maybe get Suzuki out of the game after taking 2 foul tips, but he's there for the 8th. Strike on the outside corner. Rivera singled leading off the 4th, got as far as third base. Oh, 2.
Good changeup right there. Good location. Boshears, since he was activated on September 2nd, over his last 6 outings, covering 5 2/3 innings, only 2 hits allowed, walk, 7 strikeouts. Good changeup, almost like a little screwball right there. Not allowed a run. That's the curveball.
Oh, 2 to Rivera. Changeup got a swing and a miss. 1 away.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
James Loney with a couple of hits, including a 2-out double in the 6th. Over the inside corner. Last year, of course, the Twins were in the playoff race until the last weekend of the season, through the Friday night game of the last weekend. And this year it's a different story. September is meant to give, in Boshears' case, a chance to prove that he's healthy again and able to get at least left-handed batters out. Familia getting loose. I don't think there's any question, as we've said, that the pitching staff coming out of spring training next year is going to have a lot of new names. So an opportunity for Boshears to
leave his mark,
send in his resume. Pulled foul.
Boshears, 28 years old. We've talked about him before. He did come up for a little cup of coffee with the Angels back in 2013, and then basically was released a couple times, pitched independent baseball.
And carves the outside corner and strikes out Loney looking. 2 down.
Back-to-back strikeouts.
That'll bring up d'Arnaud. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
Well, hitting his spot. Suzuki sitting there and right into the glove. Pitcher's pitch, down and away.
Twins, who mentioned they have 6 right-handed relievers. They have 6 left-handed relievers as well, but 3 of those are guys who've been starting most of the year. Tommy Milone, Pat Dean, Andrew Albers. Rogers was a starter last year, but we've seen him exclusively out of the bullpen here this year. Chopped to short. Polanco waits for the 3rd hop. And a good inning for Buddy Boshears as the Mets go down 1-2-3. Just 3 singles for the Twins, and the task won't get any easier in the 9th inning. Jeurys Familia, one of the best in the business, will try to pin down a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, Familia making his 71st relief appearance. The Mets have 50 saves out of their bullpen. Familia with 48 of the 50.
Look at that next to bottom line. 1 home run allowed in 68 1/3 innings. 48 saves on the year to lead the major leagues. Matt Reynolds in at short. Twins will send Mauer, Polanco, and Kepler with bench players Vargas, Murphy, Centeno, and Beresford.
Familia with a very good fastball, a hard slurve-like slider, and then a split finger changeup. 43 saves for the Mets last year.
Now his hits to innings pitched ratio's up just a little bit this year. But when you throw nearly 70 innings and only give up 1 home run, very often it's going to take 3 hits to score 1 run. 1-0. And now 2-0. Mauer has walked twice and lined to left.
Familia, 26 years old, out of the Dominican Republic, signed by the Mets in 2007. Signed him as a starter and then turned into a reliever in 2012.
And a fastball strike.
Yeah, last year he finally got that opportunity to close ball games and did a good job. Again, 43 saves last year.
Two and one. Not close.
.24 walks in 68 1/3 innings, 4 intentional. And with a 3-run lead, Joe will probably be taking a pitch right here. Twins need base runners.
And Bauer's walked for the 3rd time tonight. This a leadoff walk. Familia, as good as he's been, he had a bad World Series. He blew 3 saves in the World Series. And of course, Royals ended up winning the World Series. They've blown a lot of postseason saves for other teams over the last 2 years. Here is Polanco. Polanco hit his 2nd home run of the year in Detroit. That extra run that the Mets got a couple innings ago looms large now. Would still need a bloop and a blast. Polanco takes low.
And d'Arnaud is going to run the ball out to his reliever. Yeah, the Mets last year lost to the World Series. They lost to the Yankees in 2000. There are only 2 World Series wins, back in 1969 over the Orioles and 1986 over the Boston Red Sox.
Still remember the 69 one. Minnesota native, a good friend of ours, Jerry Koosman, pitched a complete game to win the championship for the Mets. And a strike, 1-1.
I don't know what d'Arnaud told him, but he's back in the strike zone.
Breaking ball hits the corner, 1-2.
Yeah, it's a very hard breaking ball at 87 miles an hour.
Polanco with one of the 3 Twins hits, a single with 2 outs in the 6th. Trying to build a threat here in the 9th against one of the best in the business. Popped up near 3rd. Reyes. One away. That'll bring up Kepler. Time now for What's Next, brought to you by Century Link. And it'll be Irvin Santana going for the Twins. Seth Lugo going for the New York Mets.
Yeah, Lugo's done a very good job for them in 5 starts. He's 4-1, an ERA at about 1.8. So he's been pitching very well. As some of their starters have been hurt, Lugo stepped up, and Santana's been pitching well.
See if the Twins can give Santana some run support for a change. So far, nothing on the board tonight. Here's Kepler, 0 for 3. Up and away, ball 1.
They're saying that Cabrera left the ball game, as Drupal Cabrera, precautionary because of his some leg cramps.
Okay.
He's had some leg issues here.
Kepler with a swing and a foul back.
These are great opportunities, Dick, for young kids like Kepler, and we saw Polanco and Buxton. September, a lot of these guys have never, maybe played in September, so all these extra at-bats are a good thing for them.
Chopped off the plate, and Familia looks at second, throws to first. Mauer advancing to second base, but now the Twins are down to their last out. And that'll bring up Suzuki. To follow up on your thought, I think you can tell who the manager is going to be counting on next year based on every night play. Kepler's had some struggles, and he got a couple games off, but he's been back in there on an every night basis. When we come to the ballpark, one thing we know is Kepler's going to be in right field. We don't know about left field yet. Rosario's been in and out of the lineup. Buxton, since he's been back up, has been in the lineup. Polanco's been in the lineup.
A lot of these guys don't get these at-bats in September. It's
Right.
only going to make them stronger for the years to come.
1-0 to Suzuki. Twins would like to get on the board here. A hit to the outfield would get Escobar to the plate, representing the tying run. The Twins also have a power threat in Vargas that hasn't been used yet. 1-0. Clips the corner.
One more thought on that extra play that a lot of these youngsters are getting. Yeah, minor leagues play about 140 ball games, but for the big leagues, 162 games in 180 days. That is a grueling schedule.
1-1 to Suzuki.
Hmm.
98.
Wow.
Down and away.
Yep.
And a swing and a miss. Looking for his 49th save. Slider away. 2-2.
Twins have been shut out 7 times this year.
And Suzuki takes low. A fastball at 98. And it's a full count. Escobar due up next. Ball 4. Not even close to a strike. And the Twins will get the tying run to the plate, and it'll be the big man, Kenny Vargas, pinch hitting for Escobar.
Yeah, second walk of the inning for Familia.
Vargas pinch hitting for Escobar in the hopes that he'll run into one here.
Well, Vargas had a very good series in Detroit. Seven hits and 15 at bats in the 4 games in Detroit.
A double, a home run, 2 runs batted in. Dan Warth and the pitching coach to the mound. The Twins have actually had a little pop from the bench this year. Vargas, as a pinch hitter, is 1 for 2 with a home run. Twins have 4 pinch hit home runs. Eduardo Nunez hit one before he was traded. Eddie Rosario has 2 of them pinch hit home runs. A sub 200 batting average off the bench, but 4 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Vargas hoping for a big one here. Fastball at the knees. High. And again, 2/3 of an inning tonight. And Familia on the year, 69 innings pitched and just 1 home run allowed. Fly ball left center field. Cespedes back. Still on the grass to end the game. Vargas just got underneath it. And the Mets win the opener 3-0.
Well, 8th time that the Twins have been shut out this year. Bartolo Colon did a number on them. 7 shutout innings, and the bullpen 2 shutout innings. Vermilia picking up save number 49.
So Tom Haddam and the Twins split the series in Detroit. They're taking on another playoff contender here in the Mets, and they lose the opener 3-0.